Today, I'm going to go over how to moderate the Q&A during a production. So let's get into it. Okay, so as a moderator, all you need to do from the AI Producer in Teams control panel is click on this button here, which will bring up the Q&A moderator page in another Teams window. There is a moderator view URL in case you do not have access to the AI Producer in Teams app in Microsoft Teams, or you are using a separate computer or phone to moderate the Q&A. There are obviously no questions on here yet, but once the questions start coming in, you can decide how you want them organized right here. Under Sort Questions, you have three options: newest to oldest, oldest to newest, or most likes from attendee feed, which would obviously sort the questions based off the amount of likes they received from the attendees. And here is where you can change the protection settings before or during a production on the moderator page. You just click on the cogwheel down here and these settings will pop up. So now I'll put the moderator page into a window on the left side of my screen and put the production meeting in a window on the right side so you can see them both. Okay, so I'm going to hit start production now, and I will be showing you both the presenter meeting and the Q&A moderator window, but also the attendee Q&A URL and presenter view. And I'll be playing the roles of attendee, moderator, and presenter for this tutorial. So I will quickly paste in a question as an attendee and then hit submit. And you will notice that the question appeared both on the attendee page under your questions as well as the moderator page. Now, as the moderator, you would see that question immediately, and there will also be a message up here alerting you that there is a new question. You could click on Publish to Presenters, which would publish this question to the presenter view page, but I won't do that quite yet. You could click Pin, which would just pin it at the top of the page. You could dismiss this question, which would dismiss the question and put it into the dismissed folder, or you could click Manage. When you want to respond to a question or add a note for the presenters, you click on Manage, which I will do now. So before you respond to this, up here, you could again pin it or dismiss it, or you could delete it. And let me explain what these buttons are. If you clicked on this one right here, it would show this question in the event feed. I'll click on it real quick so you can see what that looks like. That will stay up for 30 seconds unless you decide to take it away sooner. Of course, you don't have to show it in the event feed if you don't want to, though. I'll take it away now by clicking on this button again. Here, you could edit the question if you wanted to, if a word was spelled wrong, for example, and this button would publish the question. Publish means publish to the attendee feed on the attendee Q&A URL. So if you wanted to, you could make the question public before you answered the question. But I'm not going to publish it quite yet because I want to explain a bit about the presenter view. Let's say I wanted to get one of the questions to the presenters. As I just mentioned before, I could hit this button here, and I will do that in just a second. But first, I want to show you how you can send a note with the question that only the presenters will see. For example, I will write, Emma, you can take this one, and then click Post Note. I will now send the question and the note to the presenters by clicking on the Publish to Presenters button. And you will see that it will appear on the presenter view URL. And right below that question, if a note is attached, there will be this drop-down that says Show Replies and Notes. If a presenter clicks on it, it will show the note from the moderator, and if the moderator had already replied to the attendee with an answer, that answer would also show up here as well. And below that is the Claim button, which would allow the presenter to claim the question, which would then be seen by the moderator and the other presenters on their pages. Multiple presenters can claim a question, and everyone who has claimed it will be visible on the presenter view page. The idea behind the presenter view page is to allow the presenters to have access to the attendee questions in real time and have the opportunity to answer them live during the production. But of course, you, the moderator, can also handle all of the answers, which I will get back into now. Now, let's say you, as the moderator, just want to reply to the question, but not publish it for others to see yet. I'll type in an answer now. Very easy, and then hit reply. You will see that it immediately pops up on the attendee Q&A page, so only that attendee who asked the question can see the answer and response, as you have not made it public yet by hitting publish. Now, if you wanted to do that and publish both the question and answer at the same time, you would first hit this arrow button right here under the answer, and they would both appear in the attendee feed simultaneously. Had you clicked on the arrow button under the question, only the question would have been published. Now, if you wanted to unpublish either the answer or both, you can easily do that by clicking on the arrows again. If you click on this arrow here under the answer, it will only get rid of the answer. And if you click on this arrow under the question, it will get rid of both at the same time, which I will do. I'll bring them back in now. You could also add another response right here if you wanted to. Now, let's say you wanted to publish these to the live event feed. You could do that with these buttons here. So if you click this one next to the question, it will only bring that question into the event feed. But if you click on this one next to the answer, which I will do now, it will include both the question and the answer, and it will remain on screen for 30 seconds. But you can take it away sooner if you want by clicking on this button again, which I will do. Now, let me get back to the main page. If you ever wanted to hide a question, you would click on this button and it would move it over to the dismissed box, and you could send it back to the question page again if you wanted to by clicking on the Restore This Question button. But please note, if you hide and restore a question or answer that has already been published, it would be unpublished from the attendee feed, and you would have to republish it to make it public again. And of course, if you want to completely delete the question and answers, you could go back into Manage and hit the trash can, which would then delete them on the attendee feed. Now, if you wanted to publish a message to the attendees on the Q&A page, you could do that by clicking on Message. It will then show you this drop-down menu, which gives you the option to send a question or announcement. I'll select Announcement. Then I type in my announcement, select whether I want to send it as the moderator or as my username. I'll select moderator and then click send. It will then appear immediately in the attendee feed. Now, I have been doing all of this from the moderator page, but you'll see here in the control panel, you can also manage the Q&A. So if you don't want to open up that moderator page, you don't have to. The moderator page just gives you a little more real estate to work with than the control panel does. So there you have it. That is how you moderate the Q&A during a production. That's it for this tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.